they say? They say, with no uncertainty, Hillary Clinton has stolen the nomination from Bernie Sanders. Pure and simple. As soon as it comes out, the first 5 people from the Democratic National Committee quit. Okay? Now, here's Hillary Clinton and her war room team, you know. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Somebody says, well, I know, blame it on the Russians. And Hillary says, Russians? But it wasn't the Russians, it was Julian Assange. Well, that's all right, we'll say that Julian Assange was working for the Russians. Oh, well, that's a twofer. That sounds pretty good. But what would be the rationale? Oh, come on, Hillary. Putin wants Trump to win. It's clear as day. Now, hello, you know, I think I know something about how Russians look at American leaders. And here's a guy who is, be right there. Here's a guy who advertises unpredictability and says, you know, he says, I'm so unpredictable, I'm very proud of it, and takes violent offense at the least imagined slight. Now that's the kind of guy that Putin would like to have on a nuclear button. Give me a break. So the whole thing, the whole solution falls apart. Please, sorry to ignore you so long.
In America, in the election at the moment,
I'm sorry?
in America, in the election at the moment, Trump v. Clinton, there's a whole bunch of people who will say Trump is a maniac and he's a danger to the world, which is true. And therefore, you mustn't say anything against Hillary. Go with Hillary. There's another bunch of people who will say Hillary is a crook and Hillary is a warmonger, and so that makes Trump the friend of the working man, which is nonsense. Right? But there's a touch of this in this meeting, because we have discovered, have we not, that American imperialism is the biggest imperialist power in the world, which is true, and that the CIA and the American media are liars, which is true. And from that we seem to be saying that if anybody says anything bad about anybody else, they're just believers in American propaganda and so on. And I'm sorry, this just isn't true. Let's take the Assad regime for a start.
Assad, okay.
The Assad regime. Assad was a dictator, is a dictator, was a dictator, and his father was a dictator before him. And his father then carried out a terrible massacre in Hama in 1982.
Right.
And I don't say this because I'm a victim of American propaganda and I've been brainwashed. Anybody who knows me, I've been making anti-war movements against America since the Vietnam War. The reason I say this is because I'm told it by activists in the Middle East that the Syrian regime was a legendary dictatorship with a torture apparatus and a secret police and so on, etc. It's true, I'm afraid, that Gaddafi was a dictator. The fact that the Americans intervened in Libya doesn't mean that Gaddafi was an okay person and so on, all right. And the fact that America is an imperialist power does not mean, I'm afraid, that Russia is not an imperialist power. Russia has got a long record of invading and oppressing other countries, right? And do we really imagine that Putin and the Russians are involved in Syria out of internationalist solidarity with the Syrian people? Rather than
who suggested that?
He's protecting his oil supply to Europe, which the Qataris are trying to
Exactly.
That's fine, but there's the greatest threat to the world is
Well,
the US
I didn't interrupt you.
There's only
Excuse
one.
me, I did not interrupt
okay,
you.
fair enough.
And it's interesting, isn't it? The only person who has been interrupted was me because I'm saying what you don't want to hear. Now, that's true, isn't it? Yeah. Now, what I'm saying is, to understand that there is more than one imperialist power in the world does not make you an agent of American imperialism or someone who's brainwashed by American